He does nothing for me.
Oh, I can't even tell you, Joe, it's been a crazy 2.5 weeks. Oh my God, I just want to say to everyone at home, listen, if you ever get the chance to do something and you're scared to do it, you should definitely do it, because there's a chance it's going to pay off.
Disrespectful way possible, but this wasn't trash talk. It was personal. The insult came with years of pent-up resentment, and what Jones said off camera revealed exactly why he's been.
A legendary champion once publicly dismissed a rising challenger with a few simple words, suggesting the new contender offered him nothing. But what if that public dismissal was more than just simple confidence? What if it was a carefully chosen strategy, a way to avoid a confrontation with a fighter he knew was a genuine threat? In the next few minutes, we will explore this intense rivalry and uncover the real reasons why a celebrated champion might be avoiding a specific opponent, and why so many people are now calling that challenger the true king of the division. Prepare to see this story from a different angle, because the official narrative you might have heard about the greatest of all time could be missing some very important and unsettling details. Everyone loves the story of an underdog, and this challenger's rapid climb to the top of the sport is the stuff of legends. His journey perfectly represents everything we admire in combat sports: pure determination, a powerful belief in his own abilities, and the incredible courage to seize a life-changing opportunity when the whole world is watching. Think back to a major fight night in late 2023, a night that will be forever remembered in the sport's history. In just over a minute, the challenger stepped into the octagon against one of the most feared knockout artists in his division. He delivered a stunning, powerful blow that earned him the interim championship belt. This was not a fight that had been planned for months with a long training camp. It was a call he accepted on very short notice, a terrifying challenge that most other fighters would have turned down. It was an unexpected situation that would make even the bravest athletes hesitate. But the challenger did not hesitate. He made no excuses. He simply accepted the fight, trusting in his skills and the endless hours of hard work he had put into his craft. That moment wasn't just about winning a title, it was about proving that sometimes the most dangerous person in the room is the one nobody expected, the one who rises to the occasion when it matters most. It was a powerful demonstration of his willingness to risk everything on himself, a huge gamble that paid off in a truly spectacular and unforgettable fashion. But what really makes this challenger so different from everyone else in his division, what gives him an almost unfair advantage that cannot be taught in a gym or developed through simple fitness programs, is not just his incredible power or his obvious toughness, it is his unmatched speed. In a weight class that is usually defined by raw power and slow, devastating knockouts, where fighters often move with little agility and pure force is more common than technical skill, this challenger brings something entirely new. He moves with the speed and grace of a much lighter fighter, but with the body of a heavyweight. His hand speed is amazing for someone of his large size. His footwork is exceptional for his division, and his incredible ability to close the distance on an opponent and create attacking angles is almost never seen among fighters who weigh over 240 pounds. This is not just a physical trait, it is a factor that changes the entire game. It's a unique weapon that completely disrupts the normal way fights in this division happen. This is why so many respected analysts are now confidently saying that the legendary champion we saw in his last fight would not be the same fighter against this new challenger. Why? Because the champion's last opponent, despite his own impressive history, was noticeably slower. The challenger, with a blunt and honest assessment, pointed out that even the legendary champion himself seemed to be operating at a slower pace in that fight. He expressed a strong belief that the champion's signature moves, those creative strikes that impressed everyone, would not have been effective against him simply because he would have been too fast to be caught by them. This is a very bold claim, but when you watch the challenger's fluid movement, his explosive power, and his amazing ability to react and avoid attacks, it becomes very difficult to disagree. This is not arrogance. It is a fighter making a careful judgment based on his own elite physical abilities. The reality is that youth often brings a level of speed that can cause serious problems for older, larger fighters, and this challenger is the perfect example of that truth. So, with the challenger openly calling for a fight against the legendary champion, you would expect the champion, who has built a legacy on facing the toughest opponents, to eagerly accept the challenge and prove his dominance, correct? That is not what happened. The champion's response to the possibility of this fight was a clear and direct refusal. This was not a negotiation tactic or a way to build public interest. It was a firm and final decision. He later explained his reasoning, giving a clear look into the strategic thinking that happens at the highest levels of the sport. He argued that the challenger, while younger, bigger, and potentially more dangerous, did not yet have the long-term name recognition of other potential opponents. Therefore, a victory over the challenger would not significantly add to his already historic legacy. From the champion's perspective, the fight represented a high level level of risk for a relatively low reward in terms of his career story. But then the situation began to change and the respectful tone disappeared. The challenger's public comments shifted dramatically. He moved from respectful requests for a fight to direct and pointed criticism of the champion. He began to publicly question the champion's courage and his dedication to the sport. He painted a picture of the champion as someone who had become too comfortable with his success, someone who was no longer interested in facing real and dangerous threats. He even suggested that the champion was secretly hoping for the challenger to lose his next fight to avoid a future confrontation. And after the challenger won that next fight in impressive fashion, the champion remained completely silent. That silence, more than any words, was incredibly revealing. It suggested that the situation was not just about a cold, calculated business decision. It hinted that the champion might be aware that he was facing a genuine and terrifying threat, and was desperately trying to protect his carefully built legacy, even if that meant avoiding the one fight that everyone in the world wanted to see. The challenger's accusations did not stop there. They became even more serious and specific. He began to claim that the champion and the president of the fighting organization were working together to hold the belt hostage. He described a situation where a deliberate story was being created to keep the public focused on the champion's past achievements and legendary status, while cleverly avoiding the current and urgent question of when he would defend his title against the interim champion. The challenger noted, with obvious frustration, that in almost every public interview, no matter the topic, the conversation was always steered back to how incredible the champion is and how dominant he has been. This effectively distracted from the reality that there was an active interim champion who was dominating the division right now. The challenger's argument was simple and logical. If the champion is truly the best, then he should fight the best active contender. It is a demand that has strongly resonated with fans who are calling for athletic merit to be more important than promotional storytelling. And then there is the major unspoken issue in this entire situation: the uncomfortable and undeniable truth about the champion's controversial history with multiple failed drug tests. The challenger, with a calm and direct manner, brought this sensitive topic into the public discussion. He acknowledged that mistakes with supplements can happen once. However, he then delivered a devastating critique, suggesting that when a fighter fails tests 2, 3, 4, or even 5 times, it stops looking like an accident. He implied that such a repeated pattern of failures raises very serious questions about the fairness of the champion's past victories and the integrity of his entire career. These were not just personal attacks. They were direct challenges to the very foundation of the champion's legendary status. They bring up a fundamental question: were all those dominant performances and historic victories achieved on a level playing field? It's a serious accusation based on public records that casts a long and dark shadow over the champion's legacy. The irony of the situation only deepened when the champion, despite his claims that the challenger was irrelevant to him, engaged in petty behavior on social media after the challenger suffered an accidental injury in a fight. In a move that seemed beneath a figure of his status, the champion mocked the challenger's injury online. It was a childish and unprofessional action, but it revealed something very important. The champion was watching closely. He was paying attention. Despite all his public statements of dismissal, he was clearly invested in the challenger's career and was looking for opportunities to mock him. The hypocrisy of this action was not lost on keen observers, as the champion himself has faced accusations throughout his career of using controversial tactics in the octagon. For him to now mock an opponent for an accidental injury showed either a stunning lack of self-awareness or a deliberate attempt at psychological games, a clear sign that the challenger had gotten under his skin. Ultimately, the challenger makes his strongest case by simply comparing their recent activities. While the champion's last fight was against a legendary but older opponent who had been inactive for years, the challenger has been systematically and brutally defeating the best active fighters in the division. He first defeated a fighter who was on a terrifying knockout streak. He then completely dismantled another top contender who was considered one of an all-time great technical striker. And he did not just beat them, he finished both of these elite fighters in a combined time of just over 2 minutes. The challenger acknowledges the champion's amazing career in a different weight class, but makes it clear that in this division, he is the one who is active, dominant, and at the top. His argument is simple and convincing. The champion's legacy is secure, but his activity in this new division is limited to one fight against an aging opponent. Meanwhile, the challenger has proven himself against the best active competition in spectacular fashion. He has undeniably earned his place as the true king of the division right now. So the crucial question remains, will this fight ever happen? Or will the challenger force the legendary champion into retirement without ever sharing the octagon, simply by being too young, too fast, and too dangerous to risk fighting? All the evidence, the strategic dismissals, the public behavior, and the clear difference in their recent performances points to a champion who is carefully avoiding a genuine and and formidable threat. What do you think? Has the champion lost his competitive fire and is now focused only on protecting his legacy? Or is there a more complex strategy at play that we are not seeing? Let us know your thoughts and theories in the comments below. And if you want to dive deeper into more explosive analyses and uncover the hidden stories behind the biggest fights, make sure to click on one of the cards on your screen to watch more videos like this. Don't miss out on understanding all the layers of the fight game.